Come on in, welcome to Idle Out, where we talk all things Survivor. My name is Luke, and today we're looking at Survivor's messiest and most dramatic seasons. Do you love explosive arguments, toxic alliances, brutal backstabs, bitter players, chaotic and nonsensical moves, jaw-dropping moments, and just bad players playing badly? Then I've got the Survivor seasons for you. Look, sometimes Survivor ends up being this big, time transformative, life-changing experience the players will share forever. Sometimes the players are generally strategically adept. Sometimes the players all take their elimination well and within the spirit of the game. And sometimes they do not. I'll try to keep the spoilers to a minimum for this one, because I understand that this topic could appeal to newer Survivor fans just looking for their next drama fix. But I can't talk about a season's drama without mentioning certain events or players, so be warned. What are the messiest seasons of Survivor? Let's find out. All that said, let's take a look at Survivor's messiest and most chaotic seasons. At number 5 is Survivor Cagayan. You can sum up the drama this season in 2 words: Brains Tribe, or Tony Vlachos, or Chaos Cass, or Not Conceited. To kick things off, the premiere introduces us to the Luzon tribe, a tribe presumably named after their favorite thing to do. The tone for this tribe was set when David was elected tribe leader 5 minutes into the season, then has to immediately single out someone as the weakest member of his tribe, which is apparently this guy. If you say so, buddy. This tribe is capital M messy. Rarely do 6 personalities clash more than they do on this alleged Brains tribe. You really can't trace the roots of this tribe's problems to Jatia, however. By all accounts, Jatia should go early. She's not well connected socially. She took over building the shelter and completely botched it. And she's one of the worst challenge competitors this game's ever seen. But this tribe just keeps not voting her out. After one of their numerous immunity challenge losses, it's very obvious to everyone what has to happen. But this is Luzon we're talking about. This post-challenge segment is an embarrassment of riches if you love chaos. Jatia knows she's going home, so in revenge, she dumps the tribe's rice in the fire. Despite all that, somehow it becomes not a foregone conclusion that she's getting voted out. Garrett's face when casting his vote for her says it all. If Luzon delivered on the pre-merge drama, Cass and Tony deliver on the post-merge drama. Cass literally flip-flops so much she gains the moniker of Chaos Cass, and Tony builds spy shacks and watches other players from the bushes like he's Michael Myers. The season is delightfully chaotic until the very last vote. This is a season that really has everything a drama connoisseur could want. You really cannot go wrong. Rice is thrown, birds are flipped, and llamas are impersonated. At number 4 is Survivor Exile Island. Exile Island's chaos is almost entirely contained within one tribe, Cagayan. Never before and never since has one alliance been simultaneously so toxic, yet so successful. In episode 2, when the 4 starting tribes are swapped into 2, the Survivor gods truly blessed us with a swap that can only be described as divine intervention. Lamina ended up with all the normal, well-adjusted individuals, and all the nicotine-withdrawn psychos, obnoxious hippies, and deuce-dropping kings ended up on Cagayan. You could not assemble a more dysfunctional tribe if you tried. Everyone here is at least a little crazy, but it's Shane and Courtney who truly take this tribe to its dramatic heights. Shane begins the game suffering extreme nicotine withdrawal, resulting in volatile mood swings and a general loss of sanity throughout the season. Also on this tribe is professional fire dancer Courtney. Our introduction to her in episode 1 is her drawing a heart around a dead turtle on the beach, moved to tears by the significance of this symbol representing the Earth Mother washing up on their shore. At one point, a very annoyed Shane threatens to come kill Courtney in her shitty apartment, and her response is not, "Please don't kill me." It's that her apartment is not shitty. The only thing that keeps this season down for me on the drama front is that the other tribe, Lamina, is literally the most boring tribe in Survivor history. There's never been such a clear entertainment gap between tribes on this show. The season grinds to a halt anytime we go to Lamina pre-merge. Like, Bobby and Bruce are over here stealing wine and getting wasted in an outhouse over on Cagayan. And the big storyline on Lamina is like Terry and Dan talking about who loves America more. It's a testament to the pure entertainment value of Cagayan that this season is still a dramatic mess despite the entertainment black hole known as Lamina. You can pretty safely fast forward any scene that takes place there. Incredibly, Cagayan makes it to merge with the majority, and conventional wisdom would hold that they'd implode immediately. But the fact that this tribe had members exploding on each other literally every episode, yet they routinely stuck together, is a true testament to the games of Suri and Aris, the Michael Bluth-esque glue of this tribe, and two of its only normal members. Well, I mean normal in a relative sense. Aris, I can hear the crystals in your pocket jingling. At number 3 is Survivor Worlds Apart. This is advanced messiness, easily one of the most mean-spirited seasons in Survivor history. Almost no one is likable, especially down the stretch, and some of the drama gets extremely personal. But if you look at Worlds Apart as the blackest of black comedies, it's suddenly much more entertaining. I mean, for God's sake, the main alliance is dubbed the Axis of Evil by the Outsiders, and by the end of the game, several members of that alliance are calling themselves the Axis of Evil themselves. Carolyn and Tyler are like, yeah, we do suck. Even our heroes, Mike and Shirin, are really only rootable just by virtue of not being Dan, Rodney, or Will. Speaking of those three, they're responsible for 90% of the drama on this season, so let's talk about them. Dan is probably the least self-aware human being to ever play on this show, and that's saying a lot. He's condescending, obnoxious, and constantly puts his foot in his mouth, yet he has no idea he's any of these things. In fact, he thinks he's the hero of this story. On a first watch, Dan is absolutely maddening, but the second you stop taking him seriously, he becomes unintentionally hilarious. I mean, he unironically relates Shirin experiencing domestic violence to him being adopted. I mean, I guess they're relatable in the sense that they're both things that exist, but come on, man. Ditto for Rodney, he's even more of an acquired taste, and a taste I wouldn't blame you if you didn't acquire. He's a big loudmouth who just says whatever dumb thoughts enter his brain at any given moment. Now, sometimes those are, let's say, out-of-fashion opinions on women, which isn't super fun, but what makes his story for me is that he literally cannot win a reward to save his life. Going in with the knowledge that Rodney is a perpetual loser who will explode like a toddler at the thought of having to do dishes on his birthday makes him a lot more tolerable. Plus, his post-game transformation into a bizarro health guru has me glued to Instagram. You'll never guess what fluid he is a big proponent of drinking.
I need somebody who has to pee.
Finally, Will is Will. He explodes at Shirin at one point and gets extremely personal with her for basically no reason. I don't know any Survivor fans who even like him, ironically. This is not a season I'd recommend lightly, but if you're looking for Survivor as directed by, like, Todd Solondz, this is it. At number 2 is Survivor Nicaragua. Anyone who's seen Nicaragua knows it's a hot mess from moment one. Look, I know it's tough to follow a very well-received All-Stars season, but this is what you came up with? The feuds and downfalls in this season are truly legendary in Survivor lore. This is a season where the average feuds per castaway is like greater than 3. Is there any castaway this season that ends up above the fray? Even the 4 nice people this season, like Kelly B, get sucked into fights. I mean literally. To cover some of the more notable ones briefly, Tribe Macho Man and Jeff Varner wannabe Shannon asks Sash if he's gay 5 seconds into Tribal Council 2. Holly goes nuts and drowns Dan's $1,600 shoes and still comes out of this season looking like a hero. Marty and Jane spend most of their time on the island hating each other. Tyrone and his eyebrows hate everyone. And the world's saddest power struggle happens over on Espada, when Massachusetts fisherman Jimmy T thinks he's being unfairly overshadowed as a potential leader by back-to-back Super Bowl winning coach Jimmy Johnson. I don't know what the Super Bowl of fishing off the coast of Cape Cod is, but come back when you got 2 of those. But of course, the greatest feud in this entire season is between Nayanka and Kelly Bruno. Zleg. This really does prove that the line between acceptable cruelty to Survivor fans and unacceptable cruelty is just how funny you are when you're being mean. She says what she means, and she's mean when she says,
I'll push you so hard that damn leg will fly off.
Nayanka was really concerned early on that Kelly B was going to win sympathy votes at the end because she's an amputee. Never mind the fact that it's like day 2. Nayanka doesn't even hate Kelly the person. She just hates that leg. The thought of the leg tortures her mentally. You'd think this leg is like the one leg to rule them all, the way it eats away at her soul. She totally would have thrown it into a volcano, if she could have. I'm going to spoil Nayanka's placement here, so skip ahead a little bit if you're worried. But I can think of no better ending for Nayanka's story than her inexplicable quit on day 28, 11 days from the end of the game when she had a genuine path to Final 3 with real winner equity. And then she goes on a reward even though she knows she's quitting in like 8 hours. I've never seen Probst more pissed off. Nicaragua is a truly disastrous season, one which was hated at the time it came out and still isn't very well received in the fan community. No one on this season had a good time, the cast all hated each other, the strategy made absolutely no sense, and the 2 good players went out back-to-back early in the merge, leaving the inmates to run the asylum. Nevertheless, it does have a small hardcore contingent of dedicated lovers. Just like Sash, one of the most eligible bachelors in New York City, Shannon. Survivor's messiest and most chaotic season is obviously Survivor Gabon. This is Survivor at its sloppiest, messiest, and most dysfunctional. From start to finish, this is a train wreck of a season, but it wasn't supposed to be. This was supposed to be a landmark season of Survivor. It's the first season shot in HD, and it was much hyped. Survivor went out of their way to find a particularly breathtaking locale to show off this exciting new high-definition era, and casting's going to get a great group of people to match. You are going to get a great cast to match, right? There's a reason Survivor fans lovingly refer to this as the all-first boot season, or maybe they're hatingly referring to it as that. I'm not sure, but from start to finish, this season is a train wreck. A season so disastrous, Jeff Probst literally tried to quit the show after it. At the start of the season, they let the cast divide themselves into tribes. A fun idea they'd done a couple times. But the cast can't even do that right. Hoda drafts all the young guys and athletic women, and Fong just keeps picking up the old ladies. When the tribes are fully settled, poor Maddie looks like he wants to die. Hey, at least Crystal, literal Olympic athlete, looks athletic. Oh. Both pre- and post-swap Fong are absolutely pathetic. This is a cursed tribe. They lack any cohesion as a group and are completely terrible at all challenges. At an early tribal council, Jeff, undoubtedly feeling pity, even tries to help out Fong by forcing them to elect a leader. GC steps up to the plate to help lead this tribe out of the gutter, only to resign in less than 24 hours, then go AFK before a challenge. Literally, they cannot find him. Somehow, Fong 2.0 proves to be an even worse tribe. 3 of the most dramatic members of Coda ended up swapped to new Fong. Tribe outcast Kelly, who everyone hated for basically no reason. Scheming Ace with his fake British accent. And Sugar. Sugar somehow assumes full control of this tribe and ultimately the game. Sugar literally could not care less about Survivor. She didn't want to win or really even play, but every major move of the game from the swap onwards will succeed or fail based on her whims. Sugar had an unconventional strategy. Likely informed by recent personal tragedies in her own life, she wanted the quote-unquote good guys to win at the end of the game, but her definition of who was a good guy and who was a bad guy was prone to frequent and sudden changes, making her an almost impossible player to play with or around. You simply could not anticipate her moves in any logical way because they had no logic other than sugar logic. Watching Sugar play Survivor is like watching a toddler play chess, except they keep getting checkmate. True to form, even the scant few good players this season are actually bad. Marcus is about the most traditionally good at Survivor player on this season, and he opts to throw an immunity idol into the ocean one round before he desperately needs it. Overall, this is just a season of unbridled chaos and nonsensical gameplay. Players are voted out for sharing too many cookies, players are told to have their vocal cords removed, and everyone is at the mercy of a woman who didn't even want to be there. The winner of the season, in hindsight, is the only fitting end for this slow-motion car crash of a season. But hey, at least it's in HD. Got nothing else for ya. To help me replace all that rice Jatia threw in the fire, like and subscribe and I'll get you more Survivor content just like this. Until next time, don't get idled out.